Do you guys remember the beginning of, like, very beginning of COVID when we were all afraid of getting COVID from our Amazon packages? Like, you're going to open it up and it was going to be, like, something that came from China and COVID was just going to be, like, hanging out. I just remember that because I got an Amazon package and I was just thinking about how crazy of a time that was. That was a really crazy time for a lot of reasons. And it's really crazy to look back on more than 5 years later. How it started and how really I don't think we've fully recovered from the effects of that. I think we're going to be dealing with that for a long time. I don't think the world is the same or really ever will be the same. That was like a monumental shift in society, which is just really crazy when you start thinking about it. But anyway, welcome back to the Firestarter Coffee Podcast, guys. My name is Jai. I'm the owner of Firestarter Coffee, and I do a weekly podcast where I just talk about the business, whatever's on my mind, what I'm thinking about. I have a couple things today that might be of interest to you. This is episode 8, I believe, and I was reflecting on me just being an introvert and my journey starting a business and how the past year has gone, being in the position I am, while being someone who really does not naturally enjoy speaking. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but I want to go over the weekend, what's been going on with the business. We did the farmer's market again. Every weekend we go out there and try to sell some coffee, bags of coffee, and some brewed, like cold brew. This week one was really bad. I'm not going to lie. It was very hot here again, unlike the previous week, which was so nice, and we did a lot of sales. This past weekend was so hot. There weren't a lot of people there compared to other weeks. We didn't sell that much coffee, and whenever you go through all the effort to prep for that, and then you wake up at 5 in the morning and to get there early, and you go through all the effort, it kind of sucks. Kind of is not very rewarding. But that's part of the journey. That's part of the ups and downs of starting your own thing and all the things. I'm choosing to do it, so I'm happy to be there. Even if I don't make that many sales, I'm happy to do it. But it's part of the ups and downs, and to me, it's an essential part of growing the business right now, especially locally, and trying to get word out there and get new customers. And we still get new people every week that stop by and are curious about it and ask about what we're doing and want to get a bag of coffee or a cup of cold brew. So it's still a great thing to do. If you're have any dreams or of being in the coffee industry, or you are just starting and you don't really know how to get more sales, I highly recommend, to me, you almost just have to just find a farmer's market nearby or some event and just do it. I put it off. I didn't do it last year, and I didn't do it the first few weeks out of this year. And I was just I just hit a point where I was like, what am I doing? I'm just missing out on a big opportunity, and it's not very expensive to do the one that I do. You just have to do it, because all of a sudden it's a pretty significant part of the money that I'm bringing in for the business, which is still not a lot of money, but it's trying to keep up with my expenses, and the market really helps with that while I try to grow and try to get this thing to turn a profit. So I just highly recommend putting yourself out there, doing a market, whatever you sell, whatever you're doing. You just need to put yourself out there. But everyone has different methods, different ways of doing it. Some people really do well with just online advertising and just making an online store, paying ads and getting good return on that, and doing it that way. And I would love to figure that side of things out down the road. I'm still working on it. There's a lot to focus on, especially right now with I'm getting a lot more interest lately, and some more local businesses that might want to buy in bulk. So there's a lot going on right now, which is good for me. But that's kind of just a quick update on the business and the weekend and the market. I'm hoping to have some bigger news coming up with future partnerships. Still working on that stuff. Still having conversations and trying to get things figured out. Excuse me, I need a burp. But the main thing I wanted to talk about today, and this might not be a very long episode, I wanted to talk about being an introvert, my experience starting a business, and the shift that I've had to kind of go through and kind of naturally have gone through, mentally or socially, or how I like how social I am. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I am a natural introvert. I do not enjoy, historically, throughout my whole life, I've not enjoyed public speaking. Really, even if I'm just hanging out with people or I'm around family or wherever, I just prefer not to talk much, sit back, let other people do the talking. I've always been, kind of not confident and kind of afraid of what, other people will think or say to what I have to say. And I've always been worried about, like, oh, I'm going to sound stupid. I might as well just not say anything. Like, who cares about my opinion anyway? Unless I'm with a really close group of friends where I'm really comfortable and I can just be stupid and just say whatever, and I'm really comfortable. A lot of the time, for most of my life, I've just been quiet. I've been introverted. I recharge by being alone. I have worked remotely, a couple remote jobs in my life, and I absolutely thrive because I can stay home all day. I can basically not talk to anyone, maybe a meeting here and there. And those situations were just great for me. I felt, alive. Not having to talk to anyone that much except for like emailing and messaging. And then, you get off work and you can just, go to your room. You can watch YouTube. You can play Xbox. You can just not talk to anyone. You can be left alone, and I recharge that way. I kind of thrive, and I'm that person. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that are like that too. But whenever you start a business, you will naturally kind of be brought out of that a little bit, kind of that introversion. Maybe there's some businesses out there that don't require you to really talk or put yourself out there that much. But in my experience, growing a coffee business, trying to find new customers, trying to build a social media following, doing a podcast where I'm talking for like 20 minutes, trying to make YouTube videos where I'm either doing voiceovers or I'm just talking to a camera, going to the farmer's market, talking to new people, like many new people constantly, learning how to small talk a little better, all that stuff. It just brings you out of that. It like shocks your system out of that kind of quiet introversion that I've been so comfortable in a lot of my life. And at first it was very uncomfortable. Even sending a cold email to a potential business, like, hey, do you guys, I'm a new coffee roaster, in town. Are you guys interested in either stocking my coffee or using it to serve at your store or whatever? Or maybe you want to, you're just a local business that maybe you have coffee in your office for, lunch breaks. Maybe it's like a law office or something. Even sending those emails in the beginning, I did not want to do it. I wasn't comfortable putting myself out there. I was always worried about what people might think or say in response. Maybe they won't even see it. Maybe they'll see it and just, whatever, like just delete it. That's just one small example. But it's one of those things I didn't want to do, and then I started doing a little bit, and then I just realized, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not being mean. No one's really gonna judge me for this, even if they do. Whatever. That just kind of reflects more on them. I'm not trying to be a pest. I'm not being super salesy, because the other thing I worry about is being like overly salesy. When someone's really trying to sell you something, and it's like, dude, just like relax, like calm down. Like I'm probably not even interested. Even if I am mildly interested, I just want to take my time, or I just want to see all my options. Like, you don't need to be all in my face and trying to pressure me to buy something. I just don't like that. I'm not like that, and I don't want to come off like that. But that's kind of a side tangent. But yeah, I've never been comfortable, and I'm surprised at, just the growth that I've experienced just in the past year. It's been really great for me. I've gotten a lot more comfortable, like I said, like talking to new people, making small talk, putting myself out there, making relationships with people I've never even met before. Like, I could go into a store and ask if they're interested in selling my coffee, like buying some and then selling it. And I think the reason I can do that there's a few reasons. One, practice, like just getting started. Like, when you start anything, it's uncomfortable. And then just the repetition of it, when you then you get more comfortable with it, it becomes familiar to you, and then you can kind of tweak it. The other thing is, I'm actually interested in my product. Like, it's my thing, of course. I'm interested in it. I'm proud of the product. It's an amazing product, I think. And I like it. I really like what I do. So I'm happy to share it, and if it goes well, then it benefits me and the person that I'm selling it to, whether they're reselling it or they're just drinking it. So that really helps, being like, when you do like a school presentation, you let me make sure my audio is going. When you do a school presentation, those suck because most of the time you're not an expert in the material. You're not super comfortable with it. You haven't spent years researching it. It's just something that got thrown at you, and you're trying to learn, and you probably aren't confident about the material. You may not even know what you're talking about. You're trying to fake like you are. You're just trying to read off a PowerPoint or something. You're nervous about your peers judging you for not knowing what you're talking about. There's so many, I just always hated that. I just hated being in that situation. But when you do something like this, when you start a business and you're maybe trying to pitch it to a potential buyer, or just talking to customers about it, it's not like that. It doesn't feel like doing a high school or college presentation, because you actually care about it. You like it. You're good at it. You have the knowledge for it. Sorry, drinking some tea. Yeah, I'm not drinking coffee. I drink tea in the afternoon, coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon. What was I saying? Yeah, the real world is not like that. It's not. I don't even know why they still make you do that. I guess you learn the basics of creating a presentation, I guess, but it's completely, totally pointless. In the real world, it makes perfect sense why you're presenting to someone, and you don't need to rely on like a PowerPoint. I don't know. It's just, they need to change that. High school, colleges, you need to change that. It's stupid. It doesn't work anymore. But yeah, this has been a huge learning experience, just in business, but also just personal growth, and growing as an introverted person, and sharpening my skills and becoming more social, which has just been kind of a natural byproduct of starting my own business. I still need my recharge time at the end of the day. I don't want to talk to anyone at the end of the day, except my girlfriend. I always love talking to her. I don't really want to talk to anyone at the end of the day. I don't want to talk on the phone. I don't want to. I just want to sit, watch YouTube, or play video games or something, and recharge, and sit in my thoughts, think about stuff, or whatever. I still need that time, but not as much as I used to, and I don't need it as much as I used to. And yeah, I think I've grown a lot, with my introversion. And if you're someone, I don't know, I'm trying to think if I have any advice. If you're one of those people that is scared about putting yourself out there when you're starting a business, I'm trying to think if I even have any advice. I think my advice would be pick something to do as your business, as something that you actually love and care about and you're proud of, and that you have taken the time to get the knowledge to learn the things so you feel confident about what you're talking about and confident in your product or your service. If you just actually like it, I think reaching out to people, you may be doing like presenting to someone or trying to, sell, like softly sell, is going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier. That's been my experience. And I think especially with going to like a farmer's market, because before I used to have a really hard time with small talk and like I felt so awkward. I didn't know what to say. But the more it's just repetition and practice. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Just try to be nice. Try not to be too pressuring. If someone doesn't want to buy it, cool. I mean, that's fine. You don't need to be, bothered by that or offended or, because your product, it's not for your product. No matter what it is, it's not going to be for everyone. There's going to be people who are really into it and some people who are just not into it at all, or maybe they actively dislike it. Who knows? But that's no reason to stop. As long as you're still proud of your product or service, you like what you're doing, and you're growing as you do it. I think that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. Also, doing this, like doing a podcast, was and still is like scary because, I obviously as an introvert, I don't love to talk for extended periods of time. But like this, like I'm talking about my company, I'm talking about what I'm building and my, this whole thing that I love and I'm interested in. So it makes it easy. And I feel like, the more I've done it, like this is episode 8, it's getting easier to do. Plus no one really watches it. So I'm kind of just doing it for myself. And someday maybe more people will see it, but, I think one of the scary parts of posting on the internet is you never know like what crazy person is going to, comment like a hate comment or just hate what you do, or maybe they're just trying to be a troll or they're just trying to get a reaction. That rarely, but sometimes it happens to me every now and then. I'm like, what? Like, what? What are you even talking about? Like, this is just mean. But those people are crazy. They're not normal people like me or you, probably you. I don't know. They're not normal people. I mean, there's a lot of crazy people in this world that if you met them in person, you'd be like, oh, it's a crazy person. Like, I'm just not going to listen to their opinion, or, that's like an actual crazy person. Like, I'm not going to be friends with them. And those people are on the internet commenting stuff and making judgments and making, whatever. But you don't know that. You just assume that everyone who's commenting is like a person like you, but they're not. Anyway, those are my thoughts, I think, for the day. Being an introvert, starting a business, it's hard. It's very uncomfortable, but it's a huge opportunity to grow and to learn, and to build your character. And you don't have to, I don't think you have to totally change your personality. I don't think you need to become an introvert or extroverted person and someone who loves talking to people. I don't think you need to do that. You can just be yourself and just continue to put yourself in slightly uncomfortable positions so that you're growing, and here and there you'll get a little better at talking or sharing your product, and maybe you just post a video and then you realize, oh, it's not that bad. Like 100 people saw it. I got a comment about someone saying, oh, great job. It's not that scary. But you just got to start. You got to post a video, maybe post another video a couple days later. It might be a really dumb idea. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're being yourself, you're trying, you have a product or service that is solid that you love, that someone out there might like or might connect with. I'm still figuring all this out, so I don't feel super qualified to give a ton of advice, but some things, if I can gently nudge someone to, in the right direction, or to not be as scared as I was, because I think I'm on the right track. I think I'm headed in a direction that's going to be a lot of growth for my business and for me. I'm hoping. So I think hopefully in the future, if I'm more successful, I can give better advice or help people out more. Because if I can help someone, that would be great. I think that's a great feeling. I love kind of teaching and helping people out. I don't need anything in return. I try not to be too selfish with what I do in life. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. We've had a few listeners on every podcast, which is great. I don't know who's watching this, but thanks for listening. Hope you guys. It's Monday. Hope you guys have a good week and weekend. And I comment if you want to try the coffee, or if you have any thoughts on what's your business idea or whatever. I don't know. I've had a busy day, so I'm gonna probably take a minute, relax, and then take it easy. So have a good week, guys.